Hello, everyone. I'm looking for a topic tonight, and after playing a couple of pieces today, one of them jumped out at me, and I thought before we get on with what makes something hard, I'll show you something that can be hard, but it's not hard as much as just unfamiliar. You've all heard the word soprano. Sopranos sing up here. Okay? We've all heard of sottovoce, which means to speak under your voice. So you got these two words, sotto, S-O-T-T-O, and sopra, which mean over and under. Now, the problem with the two words is over and under what? Okay. Well, the right hand is considered the object. And when the object is over, it means over the left hand. When the right hand, the object, is under the left hand, it's called sotto. And there are plenty of times in the piano that we have to do these types of things, and they're often marked. One day I came in and had a student, he was a character, and I said, run through the hand quickly and let's see how you sound today, warm up a little bit. And I went to, sharpen a pencil or check something. And I came back and he was playing it, and when I came back I discovered he was playing it what we call SOPRA, hand over. He could have done it the other way too. So it was really funny. But I said, funny enough, Victor, his name was Victor, I said, as crazy as that looks, that's something that, maybe not in that particular case, but it's something I'm glad you feel relatively comfortable there. There's something kind of organic about when you play the piano for a little bit of the higher sounds always being here and the lower sounds always being here. I remember in college I was learning a Bach prelude and fugue, and it was unnerving to me to have a figure that went, because my 2 and 1, the 2 had a lower note than the 1, and I'd never really probably done anything quite like that before, and it sounded just weird to me. Of course I wanted to go 1-2. This guy, I'm not used to doing that. I learned I learned to do that, but it was very odd having that 2 lower than the 1 on a regular basis. So we kind of have to get used to this kind of thing, where just because a note is lower than another, a finger seems lower than another finger, it may often not be, or a hand. Now, what is the main reason for putting a hand over a hand, one hand over the other? I think the biggest reason is probably best exemplified in the Rhapsody in Blue, where he's got the tune. First of all, we like playing tunes with our right hand, and we like playing accompaniments with our left hand. That's sort of a general thing. We get used to that. But it's not always like that. So when Gershwin composed this, that is so hard for me to do that actually, okay? That's where you would figure the hands would be. In terms of physically on the piano, yeah, the melody's down here, the accompaniment up here. But to do this, is much more natural feeling. Not at first to people, I understand that. So that, of course, is sopra. You wouldn't do that. Now, why don't we do it sotto, under the left hand? Well, the left hand is playing this accompaniment, which is supposed to be soft. You don't need a lot of wrist. The right hand wants to hit those keys lighter, so you're locking them off here. So it only makes sense to do it this way. If you see me play it, yeah, I think I played this once and showed you how I did it. Also, to get that right hand back up here to do that figure, it would be very hard to maneuver below that hand. So that's why we do it. But it's done that way all the time. You know, you'll have a Mozart piece. And then he goes down with that hand. This hand keeps playing in the middle. So you can see the reason for that. Now, some people see it as an extreme to go too high, or to go too low with the left hand. Yeah, that can happen. In that case, we do other things to maybe accommodate that. Although Liszt, in his Sospiro etude, he wanted to play the accompanies with both hands, and this is a hand crossing, I will say that. And he's breaking these. There's a pretty extreme up there, and I'm playing it much slower. It's been a while since I played it. I'm not going to bother with it, but you can see what he did. But is there another way to do that? Well, the only other way to do that would be, but so he was doing it for a certain amount for looks. Could maybe be done by using those arpeggios down here. Now, sometimes another hand will sit on top of another hand. In Debussy's Serenade of the Doll from the Children's Corner, he starts with the hands very close together here. And because the left hand is going to play what is more the melody, the right hand is just going to play on all these syncopated beats here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So he's got the left hand above this. Sometimes it goes higher, sometimes it goes lower, but it's obviously a sotto situation, right under left. Sotto, sotto voce, sotto, underneath. And he does this. Now, here it's pretty normal. Then he goes into so there it's been all sotto. Then, right after he does that, he goes into SOPRA over the top of this one. This whole piece, those two hands are always close together somehow. Now, Rachmaninoff in his C-sharp minor prelude, we all know it. But what's funny with this is these chords. He conceived it in triads, very simple triads. Same triad in both hands. Okay? And then, so, but he didn't arrange it that way. I think there are two reasons that he arranged it the way he did, and it involves sotto and sopra on a moment-by-moment basis. Here, watch me do it. Do you see it? Then he does these places where he comes down. And you can see I'm going, I don't even know if I can say it fast enough. Sopra, sotto, this is hard to do with this tempo. That's sopra, sopra, sotto, sopra. That's sopra, sotto. You can see the thumbs are going over and over. Now, I think one of the reasons he did this was to show off. It looks a lot harder. And people didn't hear recordings. They went to the concert. They all wanted keyboard side. They wanted to watch him. And when his hands did this, it just looked very difficult. But the other reason I think he did it was because you can emphasize the melody better with the octave, and that is his melody. So you have more control over that than you do if you play them like that. I mean, you can make that work pretty well. In fact, when I first learned it, I think I learned it that way because this just confused me too much. All right. So anyway, sopra and sotto. I remember one of the first pieces that I ever learned on the piano was a piece called "Asleep in the Deep," and it went. And I think I learned it that way. I'm not sure, but I think I would have done a lot better had I done. Because a little bit more weight on that hand. So I suppose you're wondering, how do you practice this? Well, you have to find pieces. I think doing things like that exercise, the hand and with the hands reversed, that was probably a pretty good idea. Or for any piece that you're playing that has two hands, it could be as something as simple as the mysterious procession we talked about a long time ago. It was in the Joya First Year Piano, and it goes like this. Take that piece and try it with the left hand here. I mean the right hand, of course. Or try it here. Yeah, almost any piece you do with both hands that kind of stay like here, just put one higher or one lower than the other. And you'll get a little bit more of the feel of that. Or play a C major scale. Okay? Just do something. Now, there are pieces that, of course, do this. Some of these are a little bit tough, the ones that we're showing you. Like I say, almost any piece will work. I'm trying to think of some other pieces in those early books. The swing. If you went... I'm not sure that really sounds all that cool, but can you do it? It's geographically very funky feeling. And there are places and pieces where watch for opportunities to do it the other way around. A place where it got avoided was here. That would be too far. That would just be too far. So that's why Prokofiev switched the hands off, where that kind of thing where he switched the hands off. It could be maybe done there, but I think that would be a stretch. But most of the time it's actually easier to use a hand, the right hand for melodies here, left hand for accompaniment in here. That's the norm. So watch for it. Watch for those words, sopra, sotto. People miss them sometimes. They go, why is this so difficult? I'm trying to play this thing. And they don't realize it's supposed to be this way. By the way, a funny note before we finish. I have students, to show you how the sotto, sopra thing can get really screwed up. I almost forgot to tell you this. I have a piece called, there's a piece called Looking Glass, Through Looking Glass River. And it goes like this. Okay, very innocent. But I have had students do this. Watch carefully. And they take their right hand out while the left hand goes over and then puts it back over. It's one of these. Okay, they do that. It's about as inefficient as you can get. But I know what they're thinking. Okay, now if the left hand's going to go up here, I better get that right hand out of the way. Okay, now I got to play the B. So they bring it back over the left hand. All I had to do was just stay there, okay? And that's a SOPRA thing. That's SOPRA to a degree. That's a SOTTO right there. That's SOTTO for a moment. It's not there for any length of time. Then it's SOTTO again. Now the right hand is sitting right here, and that third finger is there. So you got to be careful of that too. Got to be careful of that kind of thing. There was no intention that you had to take your right hand out and put it back over the right hand, but those kind of things happen. So what do I write in their book? SOTTO, stay there. Just let it stay under the right hand. Okay. So anyway, I just thought that those two words are confusing when you see them, and I thought I'd straighten it out tonight and show you some examples. And tomorrow night, maybe we'll start to look at why are things, what do we call hard? Mr. Baker, that's very hard. And I look at them and go, no, a rock is hard. Let's find out what you're saying there. There's something you don't understand, and there's something physically you're having trouble with. So we'll take a look at that maybe starting tomorrow night. Okay? So until then, when words fail, music speaks.